Good morning, and thanks, Letitia. It's as Letitia said, I'm a senior advisor in the Directorate for Social, Behavioral, Economic Sciences at the National Science Foundation. And on behalf of the foundation, as well as the Directorate, which I'll refer to as SBE because I'm a Fed, and it's too cumbersome to say Social, Behavioral, and Economic Sciences. I'd like to welcome you, all of you, the participants, the presenters, the organizers of this very important international conference, and also want to thank the Governing Board and Advisory Council of the Association for Tribal Archives, Libraries, and Museums for organizing this conference and hosting us this morning. And I have to admit, it's a little intimidating. It's a tough act to follow of the song, which I very much enjoyed. And I also have to tell you, is your conference looks a lot more fun than the conferences that I usually go to. So it's a nice treat to be here. So at the National Science Foundation, we support fundamental research in all the sciences, from astronomy to zoology, from A to Z. I hope you got that. And that includes the social, behavioral, and economic sciences, which our directorate supports this research that really builds fundamental knowledge of human behavior, interactions, and social and economic systems, organizations, and institutions. And within the SBE Directorate, we have two programs that really focus on language. One is the linguistics program, and one is the program on documenting endangered languages. And both of these have consistently funded research that furthers our understanding of Native American languages. But before I talk about those programs, I just want to step back a little bit, because sometimes we're asked or actually accused of, in a negative way, of why are we supporting research on language, particularly why are we supporting documenting endangered languages, and how is that even a science? But if you think about it, language is among the most unique, or perhaps the most uniquely human behavior. And so it fits squarely within the social, behavioral, economic sciences. It reflects and affects how we think, how we behave, and where we came from in time and space. And I would argue that it also informs where we're going in the future. So the Documenting Endangered Language program at NSF, we refer to it as DEL. It was launched in 2004. It's a joint initiative in partnership with the National Endowment for the Humanities, and ultimately provides about $4.5 million per year in funding for documenting endangered languages. It aims to exploit advances in information technology to build computational infrastructure for endangered language research. It supports fieldwork, digital recording, documenting, archiving of endangered languages, really to preserve this most precious manifestation of human behavior. I also want to point out that if you're interested in submitting a proposal, they're due on Tuesday of next week. So I know after you leave here today, you are going to run home and work on your proposal. And I think of particular interest to this audience, the current solicitation includes a new partnership with the NSF Directorate for Education and Human Resources to support proposals that have investigators from institutions of higher education that are eligible for support from that directorate's tribal colleges and university program. So I don't really have to tell this audience this, but there are maybe 7,000 living languages, and 3,000 of those can be considered endangered. And among those languages are Native American and Alaskan languages, and NSF is currently supporting 13 awards in Native American and Native Alaskan languages. And some of the researchers who have received this funding are on the program for this conference, so you'll have an opportunity to hear from them. And tomorrow, some of our DEL projects will be presented in a session at 2 p.m. in the exhibits. Session also has a table representing DEL and information for those interested in this research initiative. I'd also like to point out that our program officer for documenting endangered languages, Colleen Fitzgerald, is here. So she's available to answer questions about the program. Just to give you a taste of the kinds of research that we fund under the DEL program, I'm going to mention three current projects. One is the National Breath of Life Archival Institute for Indigenous Languages, which brings citizen scientists from Native American communities. And they come for 2 weeks of training in the fundamentals of linguistics and in using archival documentation in the Smithsonian Archives and the Library of Congress. And Darrell Baldwin is the lead on this award. NSF has a very strong commitment to broadening participation of underrepresented groups in science and engineering. And so this particular award, I think, is a real manifestation of that. We also fund direct work with the last remaining fluent speakers. One example, jointly funded with our colleagues in the Directorate for Education and Human Resources Tribal Colleges program, is called Discovering Omaha Linguistic Structure Through the Documentation of Fluent Omaha Elders' Voices. And that's an award to the Nebraskan Indian Community College. And finally, sort of for perhaps another side of the spectrum, and one which you might not always think about, language documentation has to be accessible to others, and Dell emphasizes the importance of building digital infrastructure. So we have a jointly funded project that is to the University of California at Berkeley, and they're actually using cutting-edge technology from physics to access California Native American language recordings preserved on wax cylinders. So I hope that just gives you a taste of the flavor of the breadth of the program in documenting endangered languages that NSF supports. And it also demonstrates our commitment to this important area of research and to interagency partnerships with other federal agencies, as well as to broadening participation. And, we really do want to support research that ultimately deepens what we know about these amazingly diverse Native American languages, which are spoken only in the United States. So with that, I will repeat my welcome, and thank you for your attention.